Okay, can we hear me now? Are we doing any better? Yes, we're doing some picture-in-picture, Beverly. We're gonna try and see if this works. Yes, awesome, Dawn, thank you. And Dawn, I'm glad you're here, because guess what I have sitting right next to me right now? Dawn, check this out. Yep. It fits great. I have to wash it still, right? But the geode on the arm and the heart on the sleeve, oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Yes, Beverly, I have rocks next to me. You are correct. So I've got 2 cameras tonight. It is, there was a little tag in there that says I should wash it first though, Dawn. Woohoo! All right. I don't know, why does this have such a lag to it? Okay, I can't look at that, because if I look at the screen, all I see is delay, and I don't like delay. Alright, so I'm just going to do this as I normally would. It is, Beverly, I love it. That shirt, I can't wait to wear it. What I have tonight, and I'll spin you around here in a second and show what's going on this afternoon, I should say. It's a Sunday afternoon. I have a dual camera setup. To stream live, I can't use mobile yet because I don't have enough followers, but I do have the ability to stream live from my computer. So right now, I've got my computer set up with chat and all the fun stuff. I'm using a free program called Open Broadcast System, and that allows me to run 2 streams or 2 video sources together. So I have the video source on my laptop, just the webcam. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it works. So you can see me as we go. Then I have this camera here, which I can move around, which is just my Logitech Stream Cam. And I can put that on with a project that I'm working on. I even, because I'm on a tripod, I can get this guy right up next to work, so we'll be able to see much better what I'm working on and how I'm working on it. It should be able to stay far enough away from the water that I'll be able to keep it dry, but the downside is right now I don't have a lapel mic. So my lapel mic, I'm using the microphone from this camera, which means you're going to be a lot closer to the wheels than you would be making the sound much louder. I apologize for that. You're just going to have to turn your volumes down. I will eventually get a lapel mic, and I will get some sort of sound management equipment so that and I'll mess with the settings in the broadcast service, so I can keep the volume at a certain level, especially when this thing kicks on. It's a little beyond me right now, but we're going to keep playing. We're going to keep trying. And eventually we'll get it right, maybe. And if not, we'll work with what we got. I understand. I'll see you later, Beverly. I'll let you know once I get the lapel mic. You might be able to come back then, if we'll have you. You always take that chance. So, funny story, Beverly. I was listening to that playlist, and that bit came on, and all I could hear in my head was, Matt, let's start the show. Oh, yes, I know. It's funny. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if that light works. I don't know how loud. You know what I could try and do? I'm going to try one thing, and then I need you guys to tell me what you think. turn the audio way down manually. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you still hear me talk at this point? I've turned the audio input way down. Does it sound too low? Does it sound too high? Can you hear me at all? Okay, you can hear me. Good. So let's cut a stone and see what happens. Okay, so you are my guinea pigs. Yep. And we can't hear anything, huh? But this isn't hurting your ears. I'm going to turn it up a little bit then. See what happens if I bump the sound up a touch. Oh, this is good. The grinding's not too loud, but we can still hear me. Okay, I'm going to turn up just a touch. Because Dawn said she had trouble hearing me. All right, there we go. Let's see how that sounds. There we go. All right. So you cannot hear me speak when I am grinding. Okay. I will only tell my deepest, darkest secrets while I'm grinding then. And that was how I got the bully back in 4th grade. And I hit all the gold there. Those GPS coordinates are going to be forever stuck in my brain. Only one of you can read lips. At 50% volume, you can't hear my vocal. Can you hear my vocal when I'm not grinding, though? This is one messy stone. Can't understand. Okay, let me bump it up a touch. I would rather the grinding be just a touch too loud and you can hear my voice, so I can communicate with you. All right, I've turned the volume up now. I hope that makes it a little bit clearer. But I turned the volume input up, so I'm probably really loud in Beverly's ears right now. Okay, good. That works there. All right, so we'll go back to grinding a little bit more, and then you tell me if the grinding's too loud. That's sounding better with the grinding. making these little coffin shapes in preparation for Halloween. And I think instead of rounding them over and making them into a cabochon, I think I'm just going to angle them with a slight almost like a half-faceted or partially faceted So now we have just a slightly faceted gem. This is my first coffin piece. We go back and make another coffin piece. We go back into grinding now. And this isn't even a very loud stone. This is a rather quiet stone to grind. If I were to grab a piece of agate, a hard piece of something over here, that could change everything. You know, what's interesting is that a lot of people tell me that they like the grinding noise. It's relaxing. Once you get the volume to the right level, that is. Right? I got to imagine it's annoying. If you were to just jump in and hear this as loud as you possibly could. I do have a project later that does not include grinding. I've been stabilizing some stones. A couple really crumbly bits of, what was it? I think some turquoise, some chrysoprase, and I forget the other stone right now. But I have them in a solution right now that of epoxy and acetone. So I'm going to be pulling them out of the epoxy and acetone, and we'll be laying them out to dry for another week, 10 days, something like that, depending on the heat. You can see how messy this stone is. It just leaves just slop everywhere. But it is a relatively easy cutting stone. Picasso Jasper or Picasso Marble, something called it now. Right now I'm using a 100 grit diamond, hard diamond wheel. Take off the bulk of this material. I do have a more aggressive wheel on the left here. It's not needed with this stone. I'm moving through this pretty quickly. And with the more aggressive wheel, I don't have to worry. I don't start to worry about chipping. So I don't need to worry about that with this Oh, thumbs up, yes, please. And please subscribe. I want to do more of these streams. It's difficult for me to do this stream. I've got to go through some hoops because I don't have enough subscribers. So I'm hoping to get enough subscribers eventually. Keep making this kind of content and these kind of streams. So if you're here right now live and you're not subscribed, please jump there and hit the subscribe button. But if you're watching this later, give me a subscribe. Hit the little bell if you want to follow and be alerted the next time that I'm actually doing a live stream or anytime I post any videos. But I do want the bulk of my videos to be live. I'm better just rambling away here than I am trying to edit and cut and paste and add music. And with the live streams, we never know what we're going to get. This could crumble apart on me, or I could slip and grind an edge and ruin an entire stone and fail. Do we want to fail? We don't want to see a failure. But it might happen, so you got to watch live to see if it does happen. The nice thing about YouTube Live is I don't have to worry about time limits. With Instagram, they give me an hour. With Facebook, they give me 4 hours. Not that I'm going to touch 4 hours anytime soon, but hey, if we're getting into it and we're enjoying it, I don't want the streaming service to just shut down on you. That's no fun. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do check. I'm trying to check the chat as much as possible. Again, that'll get better as I get my setup a little bit more dialed in. But yes, happy accident, Soren. Absolutely. Unless there's blood, and it's not so happy. Good thing is, these machines, this grinder, although it'll do a number on stone, does very little on your actual hand. It'll take away some dead skin cells. It'll give you a nice manicure if you're not careful. If you catch an edge, it could take some skin off, but generally, they're pretty safe with your fingers. All I use for fluid is water, and there's just a little bit of water wetter. Helps keep the rust off of the wheels, but it's not a dangerous chemical. When I'm done, I feed this water that's running through here with the rock dust out into my lawn. And my lawn seems to love it because the grass is growing twice as tall there than it is anywhere else. Back on the edge where I've thrown the wastewater. Feels like a bug zapper. Beverly, no more bug zapper jokes. We were, last night, for those that don't know, was that Friday night? We were at our friend's place, helping him with his stream. Matt's Crazy Art. If you get a chance, go check out his channel as well. But we were there, and Matt invested in one of those little electronic bug zappers because he had a small case of fruit flies at his studio. Beverly got a hold of the bug zapper and decided she liked it a whole lot for herself. So she just kept zapping herself. And when you zap yourself, apparently it doesn't hurt. It feels like somebody smacked your hand, but it doesn't hurt. But she loved it. It creates a hell of a noise, and that noise was like nails on a chalkboard for me. Yes, Dawn. It's like minerals in the lawn, right? So these are just calcite. Some lawns love calcium. What else are these? Quartz. Just lawn seems to love it. All right, we've got our first 2 stones cut. These are our coffin shapes. I really like this stone for the coffin shape because it's got that dark black veining running through it. Almost looks like black spider webs. And I don't know, I just felt that it would work well for a Halloween theme. Alright, next I'm going to work on this piece of onyx. Some of you may have seen this in my last attempt at a live stream. I cut this basic shape out and I did put the girdle in. So we're going to round this over now. It is a dendritic onyx. And so you see that the dendrites in here look like little trees on a mountainside, on a hillside. And that's what I'm trying to cut out now, is to get those trees to pop. I will be drilling holes. I don't know if I'm going to drill holes in the coffins yet. Maybe by request. Jumbo guitar pick. Yes. This is a little rounded for a guitar pick, but it is a jumbo guitar pick. I like it because it's a nice, easy shape to wrap or set. With those three independent sides, you can just keep going around the edges and lock it in place in 3 positions. My hand in the way of this whole thing? It looks like it is, so. I think I need to get you guys a little bit higher. Can I get you higher? Let's see if that helps. Can we get you up there? Jake, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. We're just cutting some stones up. I made some Halloween themed cabochons a moment ago, getting ready for the Halloween season. Still a few months away, but that's a little better. I need to still work on getting up higher. Now I'm working on a piece of dendritic and trying to get the dendrites to look like trees. I've got a girdle line going all the way around here. I drew that in Sharpie. You can see that. And that, I'm trying to cut to that line to give me a nice even point all the way around the stone to work from. That way I know I can shrink in on the top until I get to the point when I have a good dome. Start getting down to that line, taking out each edge. Just a little bit at a time until I see that dome form right on the top, and I'm just slowly working my way forward. you can see that we're starting to get a dome shape here. I've got a little flat spot up there. I got to keep working around that. Hello, Poppy. How are you today? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Everybody, please feel free to give a share of the video. Share it with anybody you think might be interested in seeing a novice try and cut some rock. I don't feel as interactive as I do during Matt's show. Thank you, Dawn. Great to hear that we're looking good. We're going to work on the sound some more because I got to watch my work here versus Matt's show where I can watch chat and answer all of your questions. Jake, I have not really started to sell my stones. I donate a lot of my work to Matt right now to sell to help support the studio there, and he's supporting me as much as he can, teaching me about YouTube streaming, one thing, about how he works his different arts and manages multiple draws at a time. So, you know, he's always pulled. His creative brain is running constantly. Ooh, I want to do pottery. Ooh, I want to do jewelry. Ooh, I want to paint. Ooh, I need to make this. But then I have to clean. Yes. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, have fun. I love you. My son just popped his head in to tell me that they're going to the beach. So, I'll see you later, dude. Bye, hon. Love you. Drive carefully. Yes. See you later. Everybody says hi. So my family is going to the beach today, leaving me home to cut rocks and share it all with you. But yes, Matt has a pull constantly in 30,000 different directions. And how do you manage that? And then how do you manage that with the business of paying the bills, sharing the art with as many people as possible, getting the things accomplished behind the scenes, paperwork and taxes, you know, all of that stuff has to be done. So learning how all that works while still being able to do your art is important. And I've been in business for many years. I've helped people throughout our state who face driver's license issues. So I know what the business side of things looks like. I know how that works. But I don't know how it works when you're producing something, right? Because that's a whole different animal. Yes, Jake, he's an excellent teacher, and he absolutely does not mind sharing every bit of knowledge that he has with anybody at any time. And that is just... that's why I liked Matt from the beginning. So there's something to managing your production with that business side of it. How do you produce the art that you love that, in my case, is a hobby right now? This is a hobby for me. Answering that question about selling my product, I'm not ready to sell because I know the minute that I start selling my product, it's going to take away, or it might take away from that hobby if I don't do it right. So I'm cautious, very cautious about selling anything and committing to anything as far as sales. I've had some retail establishments reach out to me and say, hey, I would like to showcase some of your work, even though I'm still a novice. This is by no means a professional's work. I'm learning every day new bits and pieces. I try and emulate some others that I found. Take what's working for them, grow my skills every day. But those retail establishments, I've had to decline. I said, I'm just not ready. I don't want to turn my hobby here, a little bit of fun that I'm having, into a business, something where somebody somewhere, even if it's just you, even if it's just a customer looking to buy a product, my stone, who wants them there regularly or wants them there when they want them. I don't want to have to worry about keeping stock, worrying about inventory, worrying about taxes, worrying about any of those things that come along with this creative piece turning into a business. Oh, Poppy, I appreciate you stopping in for as long as you have. Just being here helps me know that people are finding it, which is one big piece. Any bit of feedback that you can give, but thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. You can see now we've graduated now from that square-sided rough cut to more of a dome top. It's nowhere near perfection yet, but I use the reflections in the light to start to tell whether we've got a good dome going. And I think we do. We've got a little high side here. Nothing I can't work out in this stone. I've got a little bit of soft material right in this spot, and it's going a little bit low. So when I hit that spot now, I'm going to need to lighten up, and I don't want to push hard, or I could take a chance of getting a divot, a low spot, or undercutting some of the stone. But you can also start to see that those dendrites come out even more. Real light over that soft spot, and then as I take it to the next row, I'll push a little harder. I'll also, with these wheels, because they're worn in a little bit, the centers are not as aggressive as the edges, and it just happens naturally with these wheels. So when I can work on a difficult or a soft spot or something that needs a little bit more finesse, I'll work more in the center of the wheel. When I need to remove material, I'll go over towards the edge a little bit and start to remove material. And at this point, I'm still, besides using the light to see the reflection and how the reflection dances on the top of the stone, I still use feel. So I can feel when there's an edge or a ridge or something that needs to be cut down. There's a lot of feel. Going for the feel. I think I'm going to move up to the next wheel, the 600 grit. This is a 280 grit, and I think we're doing pretty good here, but I'm going to stop for a moment. And now, thank you, Beverly. I do have a routine down, and I do feel that it's getting easier every time. So here it is dried off. I'm going to look and make sure that I don't have any big grindy spots that need to be worked out again. I'm going to check and make sure my girdle looks good all the way around. I'll pull out my measuring tools. And we'll check the girdle just to see if we're about 4s. It's a little thinner there, just a touch. Still over 4 though. So we're pretty consistent all the way around. I'm okay with that. No big dips. So we're about a 4mm girdle all the way around there. That's going to go down a touch on the next wheels, but I got to move you guys. So it's going to look like an earthquake for a moment. I apologize. If you get seasick easily, turn your head. We got to get out of the way here so I can get over to the next set of wheels. How does that look? I think we're doing pretty good there. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate hearing that. I do believe that teaching is one of the greatest forms of learning. And I believe that because as you teach, you reevaluate yourself constantly. At least I do. I'm constantly looking at what am I doing? What is the person learning from me? Do they want to know what's happening? Do they want to know something different? Am I showing it in such a way that it's simple? And when you try and make it simple, when you try and convey that process, the thought, the lesson, you're looking at that closer at that process, thought, and lesson than you ever could or ever would just learning, listening to somebody else. So I like teaching from that regard because it constantly sharpens that edge. Now we are jumping up to the 600 grit soft diamond resin wheel. This one's going to take the scratches out from the 280 grit wheel. That's its only job now. This job of this thing is not to take any more stone off. Nothing, no measurable amount of stone. It's just take the scratches out, and in that process, add the shine. So this one's a little bit louder than the others. Can you guys give me a feedback on the noise? It's also closer to the camera. Is it too much? Can you stand it? Terrible. I'm punny. So basically, when you leave the 280 grit wheel, your shape should be your shape. The edges should be the edges. And now you're just moving the tiny little ridges, tiny little scratches. Okay, Dawn, so you can't hear me when I'm grinding, but you can hear me outside of that, as long as you keep the volume low. Beverly can stand it. Well, we know Beverly likes pain, so that doesn't mean too much. Not too loud, Jake. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. All right, so we're getting close to that dome. We're getting much better shine now. Oh, this is still wet. I should dry it off. It's not fair. Oh, almost lost you. Into the drink. So now that it's dry, you can see that it is reflecting light. I can't see the light clearly. It's still fuzzy enough. In this particular stone, I don't know what kind of polish it's going to take. But you can see the dendrites now coming through more clearly. A distinct line between the blacks and the whites, and the brown leaves, the sky piece. So coming through. We're getting there. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, I hear that. I hear people like the actual sound when it's not so loud. This one's going to be quieter. This is my 3,000 grit, 1,200 grit diamond soft wheel. It's much less aggressive than my 600. And right now, again, its job is just taking out the scratches from the 600 grit wheel. Should help make a nice polished face. And it's after this step, we should start to see much better light reflection. This camera's a little too close. I am starting to get water splashes on the camera. Should take it okay, as long as I don't soak the puppy. Hello, Dar. I should be up here for a little bit. I'm planning to be here for about 2 hours. We're just about an hour in. But I'm glad to see you popped in. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support, everybody. Thank you. Familiar names across the board. It's great to see you found me. Oh, Dawn, I know that can be a headache. Pun intended. When I was super active in shooting sports and younger, I thought I was invincible. And I did not wear proper hearing protection all the time. I can deal with it. I got used to it. It didn't hurt me anymore, I thought. And then I developed tinnitus. And it was not pleasant. Thankfully, being away from it for a little bit, that it feels better now, or I got used to it again. I'm not sure. Yes, I can definitely start to see a much better reflection of the light in the cab now. It's not perfect. It's not a mirror finish, but this stone was never going to produce a mirror finish. All right, Jake, we'll be here. So now I've jumped up to my 3,000 gauge. This is my last pre-polish stage. I do like to hit the back. I don't hit it for very long. Not everybody does. Some people will leave the back perfectly raw. Since most of these, especially these larger stones, are going to be turned into pendants, and pendants have a tendency to kind of flip around on you, I like to keep the back looking Dawn, that is a scary thing, Dawn. I've definitely been around when large caliber rifles have gone off, and I was not expecting it. Thankfully, never in a situation where I had to duck, but walking into a firing range, a live range, and not realizing that somebody was about to fire without my ear protection on, and it's not pleasant. I have a collection, a small collection of World War I rifles that fire 30-06. And not only are they heavy, but I feel like they're louder than most modern hunting rifles. They just didn't, the chamber noise wasn't directed away. I don't know. I don't know enough about them to say that for sure, but they've got a hell of a kick to them. Yes, they're model 1917s. I became a fan of the model 1917, not just for World War I history, and even into World War II a little bit, but more about there was a manufacturing plant right down the street from my house in Eddystone, Pennsylvania. And when I found that out, that they were manufacturing these rifles originally for the British, and then once America got into World War I, they took over that plant and created the American version of the model 1917 Eddystone rifle. I said, I have to get myself some of those. And they are beautiful pieces of history. Rocks, guns, and war. All right, so we can see a little bit better. I'm going to lift you up so you can see the reflection here a little better. But now you can start to see the reflection of the light in that. It's dry now. This is not a wet stone. You can start to see the detail of the light in it. So you know you've got a nice good polish. I'm going to check all the sides. Yeah, it's got a good polish all the way through. Let's pop this guy back up here. We're going to go picture in picture. So next what I would do for final polish of this stone is I would take it over with I have a cerium oxide buffing wheel behind me, and I don't think that I have a long enough cord. Let's see, can I get it over there? I'm still bound by cords because YouTube doesn't like me yet. I need 1,000 followers or subscribers in order for YouTube to like me. Now, I don't have enough cord to make that worthwhile. So please hit the subscribe button if you're watching this so we can get more live content. I can do more streaming. But what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put you back down here. This camera in the laptop itself should be able to see what I'm doing generally. It's going to be a bit far away for you, so you're going to be looking at my back for a bit. I hope you can still hear me. All right, I need my water sprayer. What do I do with my water bottle, folks? Anybody see it? Could be anywhere. Found it. Give it some nice coating. Get it good and wet. I obviously can't see chat right this moment. All right. Use this for final polish. We use cerium oxide on glass. You don't want to burn anything, so you don't want too much heat to build up, so keep a lot of water on it. It doesn't take much. Get a nice glossy sheen. Now when we're done with that, off camera, I'm sorry, I know I wasn't set up and ready for that. But once we've done with that, you can see that it has a little bit of a orangey pinkish material to it, but that's going to rinse right off. A little bucket of water with some dish soap over here. So here it is wet. And then we'll dry her off. That is a finished cabochon. Now I have not drilled a hole. Okay, yeah, it wasn't in frame because I didn't have enough cord. I'm still tethered by a USB cable. I apologize, everybody. I know that it's difficult. We're making do with what YouTube is allowing me right now. But that is the finished stone. problem with this one, and the reason I don't want to drill a hole in this one, is because to hang properly, the point has to be on the bottom. Then, if I were to drill a hole up here, I'd have to, you know what, I could sit down and measure it and center it. I typically don't like to center these things, but. So that's part one. So about an hour to finish one stone. I appreciate it. Now, the next one that I want to work on, actually 3 stones, because we finished the 2 coffins as well. For my Halloween special. All right. I got this stone called Mookaite. It's an Australian jasper that is actually created by beetles. Dead beetles being compressed in the earth, turning into stone. It is a very vibrant purple color, but it also has some golden, yellow, brown, white, clear agate material. And then I was able to source some Mookaite beads. And so what I want to do with these is create a cabochon that will work with these beads as a set. So I can make that or offer that to someone, probably through Matt's crew. Maybe Beverly will be interested in making a set of earring pair slash ring slash bracelet. Who knows? But I think it's a cool color. I got the opportunity for the beads, so we'll try and give it a shot. What I'm going to do next, let's move this camera to kind of give us a view of what I'm working on. So you can see this part of my process. Does that look? Can you see that? Or am I covered? I like this shape. Where was that shape? So I have these templates. They're clear, so it's difficult to see on camera. You can see this template here. And what I'll do is I'll lay the templates over top of the stone, try and find something that is appealing to me. Good, I'm glad you will, Beverly. That makes me happy. And out of all my templates, too big, too small, too round, too square. Let's see. All basic shapes. I'm missing a template. Where'd it go? It ran away. Oh my goodness. If it were a snake, it would have bit me. All right. I think I want to use this shape there. I like that shape. I feel like it's going to do a good job of capturing the colors. One of the things I need to be careful of, one of the things I know about this stone, so some of the practicing that I've done, Remember I was talking earlier about some things being softer than others? And this white material in here is very soft compared to the off-white color here, almost gray or creamy colored. So the white is going to grind away really fast, and I don't want that white to be on the edge of any pattern for fear of it grinding away. Let me grab my other Mookaite back here. See if I can find some more that will work. I have a bin that I've cut up. I've slabbed these up previously on slab saw. And I like this. It has some cool colors to it, but it's not solid. You see all those little holes and inclusions in there? I would have to stabilize that to make it work. This piece could work if it's big enough. I don't think that's going to work. It's just not going to fit. And where it does fit, it doesn't give me enough of the maroon color. Ooh, that's got a cool look to it. That's kind of cool, right? That line going through and the... Welcome back, Jake. Thank you for joining us again. So now I'll take my fine Sharpie marker and just put this pattern in. So here is the pattern. This is what... Oh, we did, Jake, yes. You want to see the white one again? There's the white one. I'm having trouble centering everything in the screen because it's... You can see the way the light reflects off of it. It's got a great little polish to it. And I was saying, I don't know that I want to put a hole in it, drill a hole through the top just yet, because it has to hang this way to make the trees stand up straight. Oh, thank you, Jake. I love it. Here is the next cab that I'm going to work on. This is Mookaite, and you may have missed a moment ago where I mentioned that this is an Australian Jasper that's made from dead beetles. That's where it gets its color. And I was able to source some Mookaite beads, and I wanted to be able to give Beverly the opportunity to make a pendant and then matching earring, ring, bracelet, whatever with the Mookaite beads. I've got plenty of them. And so now we're gonna jump back over here. We're gonna watch this guy, and I'm going to try and change something up here. Let's see what happens if I do this. This. Nope, that's not going to work. Alright. Playing with YouTube settings. You can still see me up here. And this is going to be really loud. I've kept the camera back on purpose. Mookaite is a loud, Jasper, hard Jasper on these are going to be screaming as I cut it, especially as I cut it in this really rough form right now. So turn your volumes down or check your sound. There is a high chance of failure with this because there are some seams that run through this stone. They don't always form well, so we're looking at, there's a good chance that this stone's going to crumble on me. I'm going to try and take it easy. But I got a lot of stone to remove to get to the shape we have laid out here. I decided that the way this is cutting, I'm going to use the saw over here. You're not going to be able to see me for a few moments. I'm just going to come over here and use my trim saw to cut a chunk of this off and save us some time, some noise. Alright, save me from having to go through grinding that thing like crazy. And we're back. Hopefully prevented a chip out or a blowout. Oh, I still need to use that. This is a very hard stone, but because it's so hard, it does take a polish. Really good polish. But if you're removing any serious quantity of it, we got to use my super aggressive grit mesh hard diamond. I've got it down now, just a few millimeters from the pattern that we were creating, the leaf pattern, as Jake called it. So I'm going to now jump it down to the 100 grit diamond wheel to sort of get all the way to our line. Right up to that line without chipping out. Making sure we got a good shape all the way around, right? We need more light over here. I think we need more light. How's that look? Definitely better. Okay, good. So I got a little bit more to go in the top point there. So a little bit around this curve to level this side out, make it easy for me to put the girdle in. That's what I'm working on now. And I want to go nice and slow in this phase. The chip out on the top would really suck. All right, I like that shape. I think we've got to a good point here where we can now take this and put a nice girdle around it. Get it really thin. I want to get a super thin girdle on this one because it is such a hard stone. The one piece that I'm worried about, and I'll show you what I'm thinking here. case you run across it. You can see there is a slight crack there. Now we know that that crack does not go all the way through. But if you look here, there might be a point based on that and that where they meet, and I might lose an edge here. This is high chance of failure, folks. If you're here to watch a failure happen, this is a high chance. So we're gonna see what happens after I put this girdle in it. I'm just gonna, we've seen that process a bunch. So I'm not gonna move the camera around because I like where the camera is right now. But I'm hoping, because I put such a small girdle in this one's probably a 2 mil girdle going around. I'm hoping that because we do that, if we have a blowout over there, I'll be able to grind and still keep a good shape. I don't know. Dun dun dun! What is going to happen? Will the pendant survive? Will we have to start over again? We have to grab another chunk of rock? Stick around to find out. Here we go. Now, just to be clear, if I had a lot, if this was a precious stone, if this was something that I didn't have a lot of the material, I have a lot of mookaite. I bought some big chunks raw of it. Or if I was really set on this is the perfect stone for somebody, I would stop now. I would probably take a few moments and fill that little crack with some acrylite, some super glue type material. I'd let that harden for 24, 48 hours. Then I would start cutting. I don't believe that filling that is going to make a huge difference in this piece, but we'll see. And if I need to start over again, I have a lot of the mookaite material. This particular pendant isn't for somebody, it's not a custom order. And if it does go poof, we've learned something, right? We've learned what to look for. Mookaite itself is not the most uncommon material. It's pretty available right now. Apparently there was a big load of it uncovered and brought to the States. A lot of my favorite vendors do have it available, so if I need more of it, I'm pretty sure I can get more of it. So we're going to gamble. Couple things I can do to help try and prevent that from blowing out or work softer on it as we get to it. Not push it hard, let the machine do more work. Slow it down a touch. Right? more into the cut, so we're going to go slow on this. Looking good so far. Holding together nicely. We're going real slow right now. We're going slow on purpose. High probability of failure here. That cut is coming closer and closer to the surface. I'll show you real quick. So the cut that I'm worried about, this piece that could blow out at any moment, is right along the top here, and right along the bottom here. It feels secure. I mean, I don't feel anything wiggly. That's a good sign, right? It's not a loose tooth. But every time I cut a little bit more of that, there's less material holding that and less material holding that. Like I said earlier, that if I was really concerned about this, I would back this or drop some super glue in there and let that set up for a couple day or two. But I've got a lot more of this material, so if this blows apart, we'll try it again. Here we go, back to the grind. Back to the grindstone. Another cool thing about a stone like this is that because the stone has all these colors intertwined and intermingled and wrapped up, as you grind through, the stone colors change, and some of this white is coming through the center here. So we have the yellow fading to white, fading to this maroon color, but also you have this line popping through here. Who knows what that's going to do as I get closer and closer to the finished form. Always a bit of mystery. Cutting each stone. It's like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. staying together, ladies and gentlemen. It is staying together. All right, I'm going to take it down to the next wheel now. We're going to drop it down to the 280 and see if we can't get a little bit of these rough edges. Take it down, get a little bit more of a dome to it rather than a quasi-faceted thing. But that got a little cut there held together nicely. Let's see what happens next. Mom always had a way of explaining things so I could understand. All right, let's see if this takes him down. Because these resin wheels have a felt backer, when I push a little bit, they can form to the stone and they'll make a rounded shape around the stone and help me to get a dome much easier. Little soft spot came out here in the red, the maroon color, but it's actually bringing a little bit of the rarer lavender Mookaite through. That was hiding inside there. You'll see when I show in a second the lavender color coming out. I've got to be really gentle with this edge now because it is much softer. Softer than the rest. I'm sticking to the center of the wheel, which has the least aggressive bit of diamond on it. I'm going very light, just letting the diamond, the grit, take off a bit of stone. take out the scratches from the prior, and I'll work a little bit harder on that spot on the next wheel, rather than try and push it on this one. It may mean that I need to work a little bit longer on the 600 grit, right? But it looks like our edge stayed, folks. It looks like to this point, we survived the dreaded blowout. So she's still a little bit wet. That's okay. We're not worried too much about the fine scratches here. The shape stayed nicely. I don't feel that cut, so that may have been a cut that healed naturally, and that's why it's staying together for us. You can now see, when it's wet, there is some lavender showing through here and right there. That lavender bit is the softer bit. But the lavender color is great. There's a couple beads here. You can see these beads will match up nicely, and there's a couple that have a little bit of lavender to them. So they can be used as part of whatever we decide to make with this pendant. But I'm gonna move up to the 600 grit now. It's gonna be a lot closer. Remember how loud the 600 grit is. It's a little bit louder than the rest. So you may need to adjust your volumes accordingly. We're not completely out of the woods with that blowout, but I'm going to be gentle with it, and we'll see what we can get. Again, I'm reminding you, this is a little bit louder than the other wheels. It'll go back to quiet again. It'll go quieter at the next wheel, but with this one, rocks can be finicky and decide to change on you at any moment. Thank you, Dawn. I'm glad you're finding it interesting. That's always important to me, to make an interesting something. And if you're learning something, even if it's not anything that you're ever going to do, maybe it brings a little bit of appreciation to what you're working with, or when you're looking for stones for a piece of jewelry that you're going to make, you get a better idea of what to look for and what has gone into creating that particular stone, right? That is why I'm taking a jewelry setting class with a local artist, a silversmith, who said that she would give a private class and I can learn about how to set these in silver. And I don't know that that's anything that I'm ever going to want to do, right? That's not necessarily my goal with this. But if I know how a silversmith thinks, if she teaches me what she does, how she works, what she looks for in a stone, then while I'm sitting here doing what I do, I can look for stones, or I can model what I do with stones after what she teaches me. And then I have just a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more experience, a little better understanding of what I'm doing to make her job easier and to make my stones more desirable for someone like her. Okay, that didn't sound good. YouTube, I didn't mean that the way it sounded. But there's lots of jokes to be made around stones. So here's something that I see now that I've gone through everything and I've done 600 grit. I should not be able to see visual scratches. At this point, 600 should have taken away any large scratches. And I don't know if this is going to translate well on camera, but there's a little flat spot right there. And there's a series of white scratches in there. And that is no-go. That's no bueno, because I could go forever on the 1200 grit and that'll never come out. I could go harder on the 600 grit and maybe get it out, but it's going to be a long work on that 600 grit, and I don't want to work that long. The process should be that the 280 takes out those really deep scratches. Those scratches are actually from the 100 grit wheel. The process should be that the 280 takes out all of those scratches, and then the 600 grit takes out the 280 grit scratches. What I've got here, I don't know if you can see this on the webcam, the big camera there, but this is a light and a magnifier. So I'm going to flip the magnifier lid up, and I'm just going to look a little closer and make sure those are the only scratches in this stone. There's a couple more down here. All right. There's a few different ways I can handle this. I could just go back and wing it on the stone, which is what I would normally do if I didn't have 8 people watching me. Or I can take a Sharpie and I can mark on the with the Sharpie those little lines that I think need to be ground out and need a little bit better curve because it's a little bit of a flat spot. So a few straight lines in the direction of the scratches. So now you can see those lines on the stone, and they'll stay there. They're not going to go anywhere when I get back into grinding it on 280. And I will go now on 280 until those lines are gone. That's my goal. Oh, Don, that is phenomenal. I started with a wet tile saw. That's all I used was a little skill saw. I think it cost me $70 at Home Depot, and the standard blade that came with it. And I just started taking rocks that I found in my yard and started cutting them just to see what was inside. And this was one of the rocks that I found inside my yard. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I actually found it in a creek that runs behind my house. And I was like, that looks pretty cool, but it was different. There was a little bit of, when I wet this, right? So now I took it and put it in the creek, and there was a bit of a green hue to it. So looking at that, I said, that's interesting. Let me bring it home and take a closer look and see what that green looks like. It's kind of hard to see the green now. But then, when I cut this in my saw, this came out. And this is a green serpentine rock. And it is a beautiful jade green color and just has some gorgeous coloring in it. Some blacks, some whites, some streaks coming through. Again, it's tough to tell on camera, but that came out. So I saved the slices. And I can put, they just fell apart, so now I can't put them back together. But I used to be able to put the slices back together so you can see what it looked like as I was cutting this rock. And then out of that, once I started getting all my gear together, so you can see the green color, just made this little green triangle. And I glued a pin back to it. So now I have a little lapel pin. And if I ever get into a situation where I have to dress up and wear a suit, I would absolutely clip that onto the lapel of my suit. And it would be a cool conversation starter. Because this was one of the first stones that I cut from my backyard and turned into a piece of jewelry. So you can do all that with a tile saw. Well, maybe not that last bit, right? That last little piece you can grind up. And all I did from there So again, for less than $100, I got an angle grinder. It's a wet grinder, so it hooks up to my garden hose. I can adjust the amount of water that's sprayed out of here. And I use these little pads. You'll see these easy to find on Amazon or at Harbor Freight, Home Depot. They're just little diamond grinding pads. Colored. This is a 3000 grit. That's the same as that wheel. It's 1500. That's close to that wheel. Here is, that's 800. So that's close to that wheel. And then we go down to 200, close to that wheel. Down to 100, there's that wheel. And 50, here's that wheel. And then they even give you a 400. So I've got all the same wheels here. These Velcro sides stick onto the wet grinding wheel, the wet angle grinder, and these diamond pads do wonders. I mean, you could sit there and flatten and carve a stone out. You don't have the same rounded capability, but you do have a little bit of give, so you can get a nice round or domed cabochon using these. And that's what I did for the first couple of months in June of last year for my my COVID hobby, was grinding stones. Yep, I've seen them used with the drill press also. You got to keep them wet though. You have to keep these guys wet, and they're cheap. I think it was less than $30 for this set. All right, back to grinding my stone. Yep, they are diamond pads. Hello, Barefoot. Welcome to our group. Thank you for joining us today. If you guys are enjoying yourselves, please give us a little thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It always helps people find it. Lets me know that we want to continue this content. What we're doing right now, just to catch everybody up, I found a couple lines, scratches still in this stone, and a little flat spot that needs to be rounded over. So I'm going to jump onto the 280 grit, and we're going to try and work those little flat spots out before I go back up to anything higher. I've marked the area that I'm concerned about with a Sharpie, because as it gets wet, I'm not going to be able to see the scratches. Now I'm going to work this out until the Sharpie marker is gone. once the Sharpie's gone, I'm going to just spend an extra minute making sure it's rounded over. And I'm going to go outside of that area just a touch so that it feels in line with the rest of the dome, right? You don't want a flat spot. And I'm using the light. I can see the reflection. You can't see it on camera. But the light that I have in front of me, I can follow the curves and see if the light distorts in a spot. And if it does, and it does a little bit right there where we had that flat spot earlier, light distorts there. So now I can use that to try and get this more rounded. Again, the 280 grit here is only going to take off so much of the time. It's going to be really slow working. And because we hit that soft spot with the lavender, there we go, that looks much better. All right, because we hit that soft spot with the lavender, I want to work really light in that area. I don't want to push too hard. So now, working on that area gave me another flat spot. I'm going to work that flat spot over. So it goes away. I'm going to stay in the center of my 280 grit wheel so I don't end up with more aggressive outer ridge edges, which could put more scratches back in that area. You don't want to. All right. Now we're going to dry her off and let's see what happens. Let's see if those scratches are still there, those really deep ones we were just looking at. Let's check the dome. What do you think? Are we getting rid of them? Dawn learned tie-dyeing during the pandemic also. I know pandemic hobbies are so awesome, aren't they? Not quite yet. I need to work a little bit harder in this one spot. If I don't spend this time now working out these little scratches, I mean, this stuff that you're not going to be able to see on camera, then when I go to polish, it's going to be tough to get that mirror polish on there. And we want to see a mirror polish on this particular stone. Because these beads are really well polished. Much better. All right, good, good, good. I like that. I can deal with that. That scratch, that cut still looks like it's holding up. I don't feel any scratch. It was probably healed naturally millions of years ago when the bugs died and created these cool colors. So there is, after the 280 grit, you see how we lost a little bit of shine, right? It just took a little bit of shine off of there. But we're going to put that back to 600 grit now. University of YouTube, absolutely. That's how I found Matt. That's how Matt found me. That's how I found Beverly. And Tie-Dye and Dawn. And Barefoot Hippies. And Jake. All of you. YouTube University. then it was crazy because I'm searching for how to get better at doing this, and I found my local lapidary society. Tuscarora Lapidary Society was in my backyard. They're less than 5 miles from my house. I had no idea that they were there, ever. I passed by that building thousands of times in my lifetime. They have the domain lapidary.org. I mean, they've been around forever. They've got some artists in there that are phenomenal. It says that we are getting choppy. Error. YouTube is not enough video. Ooh, why are we poor? No, okay, we're okay. Did it buffer for some people there for a moment? Yeah, it said buffering. All right, I'm going to go back to cutting here for a minute. Hope that straightens itself out because it says we still have strong stream, a strong signal. I have an important stage here that I don't want to stop. Just I have to mentally keep track of where I've been on this stone. So I don't want to stop every 2 minutes and dry it off and check for missed spot. So for efficiency's sake, I'm going to keep going. All right, stream is healthy. We're back to healthy stream with buffering. Should be clear. Okay. Feeling pretty good about this polish now. So I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to move it up to the next wheel before I dry it off and check for scratches, because this will help me see anything that I missed. It will not look as polished. I need to turn my air conditioner down. All right, we've had a heat wave here the last couple of days. Been in the 90s a lot. And then we had storms last night like crazy. Lightning shows, thunder and wind. Today, it's in the 70s, upper 70s. I know those of you out west are going through another heat wave. It's going to get hotter. I can't believe it's going to get hotter, and I feel so bad. Hope it passes quickly. Those of you down south, well, you chose to live there. I didn't. Don't feel bad for you. You knew it was going to be hot. Now, Dawn, when you say networking is important, did you mean networking as in meeting other artists and learning to, or meeting other people, or did you mean networking as in computer networking and getting a good stream? Because we were talking about both at that moment. But I agree, both. Networking is important. I am working on a way to get a hard wire out to my garage so I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi. We'll see if that ever pans out. Thanks, Barefoot. The running commentary. Who knows what's going to come into my head? All kinds of crazy stuff. No, crazy's Matt's term. I don't listen to that. So here is our cabochon after the first pre-polish wheel. We still have one more pre-polish wheel to go. And I think it looks pretty good from my end. I can see an awesome reflection in it. Pretty clear. The crack held up, it survived. We got a surprise with some lavender colors coming through, which is awesome. The lavender is a bit rarer in this stone. Commands a little bit more money sometimes. I'm just checking now to see if there are any hazy spots. I mean, I can see pretty darn clear all the way around that light. I can see the ring from my ring light there. Not seeing anything that says it needs to just say no to cracks, right? All right, let's give it the final polish here. We're going to jump up to the 3000 grit now, and then I will take it back over to the cerium oxide, where I'm going to have to leave you fine folks for a minute because I can't bring my camera over there yet. Can you see in this wheel? So this stone is going to end up in Beverly's hands. She has agreed to turn it into something with the beads, and I'll show you the beads in a moment. A nice set of some sort. I'm going to leave that up to her, what she wants to do with it. And then you can look for it on the Beverly Maid's Etsy page. Beverly, do you want to give us your Etsy link? I know you can't create a link in chat, but can you give us how to find you on Etsy? Right. I think we are about done. The texture of this tone has changed. when I started, I could hold it, feel the ridges. I could feel a much what's the word I'm looking for? A gritty surface. I could feel a texture to the surface. It is now slippery smooth. Even dry. I'll finish drying that puppy off in a second. What's your shop name, Beverly? Beverly Made Bracelets Etsy shop. What's the address to get to you? Sunday mornings. Well, here it's afternoons. I try to get in after church, right? I try to their worship site. I don't know. My mother drilled that into me years ago. Everything we did was, well, let's wait till after church. That way we know people are home. Go to visit. Let's wait till after church. All right, here we go. So there is a shiny cabochon. And Beverly, I need to know, would you like a hole drilled in this? Would that help you, or would you prefer to do it straight? It's a smaller cabochon, so if I do put the hole in, it's going to be very big. And if you do, where would you like the hole? In the larger point or the smaller point? Because you could really, see how slippery this thing is now? You could go with either way. The hole could be up here or down here. And the reason I can drill these holes, oh, it looks like we had a little stutter, everybody. So I'm going to wait 1 second. Why are we stuttering? No hole. Okay, no hole. The reason I can drill these holes is because Barefoot Hippies donated to Matt's Crazy Art and myself coring bits. So I got to learn how to actually properly drill a hole. Now our goal was to create a cabochon that fit with this set of beads. And I think within this strand of beads, there is a good match for this cabochon. You tell me. So we're getting the error again. I don't think it's on this side. I think it's an error within YouTube itself, because my signal strength is strong. So no hole, cabochon with matching beads. I'm going to get that in Beverly's hand, and you go to Beverly Made Bracelets Etsy shop and look for that set. You'll see it listed once she's done. No promise on time frame, but she's going to be selling that set. So number next. Do we have any questions so far? Do you guys have any questions for me? We've been at this for just a little over 2 hours. So I'm going to cut the stream off soon, unless we have a couple questions. Good, Barefoot. Go create, go make something fun and interesting. Whatever you make, smile while you're doing it. Think about this stream while you're making it. Share it on the Matt's Crazy Art Facebook page. I'd love to see it if you share it there. I did share this video there, so I'm hoping some people found us through that. Why am I so talented? Well, practice. I don't feel talented. This feels easy, which makes me scared, because that means that maybe it is a talent. I don't know. I enjoy it. I've had so much fun with it. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it. Nice. I appreciate all of the comments. You guys are awesome. Charismatic. That I blame my mother and my father. My mother, who was very closely connected to art at all times, painting, sculpting, poetry. My father, who was an attorney and skilled linguist. He was, my entire youth, we would spend arguing and back and forth, and not the bad arguing, the good arguing, the point counterpoint. I learned a lot working with him over the years. So between my mother and my father, I've got art and charisma, maybe. My wife, who drugged me kicking and screaming into the fine arts world, where she has taken me to museums and shows and introduced me to people that I would never have on my own, my normal steak and potatoes Vince before I met my wife, and performing arts. You know, she has been in the performing arts world as an artist manager, as a performer, as a fan and enthusiast for years. So all of those things have combined into me having this passion and connection to everything that we all do. A true stoner. That's a different video stream, Dawn. How do you get better at speaking to humans? Just do it. It's tough. It's not easy. And I'll tell you, I would not have been able to do this 6 months ago. If I did not meet Matt Moskal, if I did not connect with Matt's crazy art and all of you people and the support that you've given me, I would never be able to come here and stream live knowing that potentially dozens of people could see this, and maybe someday hundreds and hopefully thousands, right? It's been difficult. It's been difficult getting over that hurdle. So do it often and do it in front of people who care about you. That's easy. You guys have made it easy for me to get into this mode, to be able to talk to you and know that, hey, even if I stumble, if I say something asinine, if I break something, if it doesn't work out and we spend time buffering, you're all gonna have positive words or constructive criticism. And so I'm there for all of that. And so that's what you need to do, to talk to humans, stick with your tribe, stick with the humans who love you, stick with the humans who care and are willing to support you through this, which is what I've done here. And now just with this live stream and with YouTube channel being open, right? It's not my Facebook page. It's not the closed Matt's Crazy Art Facebook group. By opening it up to the public now, anything can happen, right? Anybody can come in here and say nasty things, but I know that I'm doing okay because at least 8 to 10 of you today enjoyed what you saw and appreciated this process. And we'll all learn together. Yes, you do, Dawn. I know that you all want, and I want all of you to succeed as well. I want all of us. There's no reason why we can't all succeed and all be successful. And it doesn't have to be any one of us stepping on somebody else and keeping them down in order to make it to be a success. So thank you again, everybody. If you're watching this, please throw a subscribe down there, share it with your friends and your networks. We need to get the word out. I need more people in here so I can start to do more creative live streams, right? I don't have to be limited to where a USB connection can go and have my laptop in the background. I can do it from phones and I can put interesting things together and do things outside, and that's my goal. I want to be able to do live streams whenever I've come across something interesting, from rock shows to other artists to performances. Not me performing, other people performing. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy whenever you're watching this, enjoy the rest of your week. I hope that you got a bit of creativity. Be safe. How do I stop this crazy thing? There we go. I'm going to end the stream. Bye-bye. Thank you.